Hello, 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 and welcome to a special edition tonight of the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show. I am so happy to be here tonight. Tonight we have Councilwoman Petra Hawkins in the studio, and I am just so happy to have her here tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So tonight, this is going to be a very special interview tonight. We have been trying to collaborate to get this done for a minute. And so listen,
Yes.
make sure you like, tag, and share this video tonight. We're going to get to know her as the person and as the city councilwoman. We're also going to be open to comments and questions. So if you have any questions and comments, we are live tonight. Feel free to chime in and we'll answer your questions and comments as best we can. Okay. All right. Well, Miss Petra, the very first
Yes.
question that I usually ask all of my guests is please tell us, who is Petra Hawkins?
Who is Petra Hawkins? Well, initially I was Petra LaShawn Williams, and then I became Petra LaShawn or Petra Williams Hawkins in February of 1996 when I got married. But prior to that, just a little, originally from Tyler, Texas, attended TISD schools. I graduated from John Tyler High School in 1989. I attended Tyler Junior College, went to nursing school, and I worked, traveled all over the U.S. Doing strikes and COVID response, just rapid response assignments and things like that. But that's just part of my career. But me as a person, wow, I'm just a compassionate person. I love people, love helping people any way I can. I'm a people person. Don't meet a stranger. Um, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I like the question. That way I can elaborate because I'm very modest. I can say that, so I can respond to
Okay.
your questions better, I think.
Okay. I can't remember how long ago it was, but I got interviewed and somebody asked me that question, and I adopted that
Mhm.
question because it caught me off guard. I was like, and so, but it made me think, so many times we're just acting in the moment and we're, just being who we are, that we don't really think about who
Right.
are we. And
Right.
so that I just kind of adopted that question because I remember it really made me think too. Um,
Right.
so let's
So
see.
I
Let's
guess.
start. Go ahead.
Oh no, I just thought about that again when you said that. Who am I? I describe
Yeah.
some things, but really not who I am. So I describe being a wife and a student. And so I didn't just, I'm a mother and a grandmother and a sister and aunt, cousin. So
But that's what we
I guess
usually do. We usually describe the titles.
we
And
do. That's true.
that and I did the same thing, and then I had to think about it. I was like, okay, I don't know about you, but sometimes we can be so busy with stuff and people and things that I'm in this new stage where I'm trying to rediscover myself. And so I've been
Right.
trying to figure out, like, what is my favorite color? Like, what do I like to do? Do you ever find yourself, because I know you are a busy woman, do you find yourself ever kind of like taking a moment and like thinking, what do I like to do? What do I really like? Or have you not gotten overtaken in that way?
I mean, I know what I like to do. It's just taking the time to do it because we're always offering a self. And so we kind of put
Yes.
ourselves on the back burner. Sometimes
Yeah.
I get to do the things I like to do, but not often. But I enjoy doing what I do. So it kind of
Right.
balances it out.
Right. We've got Miss Verona Carter, and she is tuning in. This is her. I know you as Elizabeth Carter, Miss Minister Elizabeth Carter, tuning in with us tonight. And she was a guest not too long ago, Miss Petra. And so she says, yeah, it definitely catches you off guard, the question.
It does.
Thank you for joining us
It
tonight, Miss
does.
Carter.
Like, hi, Mrs. Carter.
Yes, ma'am. So listen, let's start with your family life. I know that you have accomplished a lot of major things in your life. For all of us that are watching, that may not know as much about you, tell us, what was family life like for Miss Petra?
I came up as the oldest of three. I have a younger brother. He's 5 years older, and I have a sister that's 13 years younger. And I
Okay.
also have two half sisters and a half brother. But as far as my household that I grew up in, I grew up with a younger brother and younger sister,
Okay. Okay.
and
Very
mom and dad,
good.
of course. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And you said you're originally from Tyler, right? You grew up and went to John Tyler,
Yes, born and raised. Yes.
born and raised. Okay. At what point did faith come into your life? Did faith play a really big part in your life when you were younger or older, or kind of what did that look like for you?
Yes, especially when we were younger. We always attended church. We went to Bethlehem Baptist Church. It's an older church over on Lawler Street in Ross. And we went to church. And after church, we always went to Luby's over there on Roseland.
Yeah.
So we
Really.
always enjoyed that after church, getting to go eat my mac and cheese, yes, and my drumstick.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
also early on in middle school. See, we grew up Baptist, but in middle school we also studied with Jehovah's Witnesses. So we had Bible study, and they would come like on Saturday mornings, and they do their teachers and everything. So we did there for a
Okay.
little while. Then we returned back to Baptist.
Back to Baptist. Okay. Okay.
Learned a lot
Um,
though, attending the Kingdom.
okay. I've never really had a lot of conversation with people that are Jehovah Witness, but one thing I do admire about them is their witness. I do admire the fact that they
Right.
have very strong witness. I was thinking about what you said about Luby. So my thing was the mac and cheese and the fish. That was my and the
Next,
roll. Let's not forget the roll.
yeah, when I was
Yes,
grown, I transitioned to fish, but as a kid, I always had the drumstick.
the drumstick. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So okay, so you go through high school. At what point did you decide that you wanted to get into nursing? I know that was kind of like one of the first careers that you went into. So I'm taking it you always kind of felt like a caregiver, kind of nurturing, being an older sibling. Was that kind of something that sparked that?
Well, you know what? You keep making me think. I never thought about because I did babysit my sister and brother, but I never thought about that part of it. But I just always liked biology and anatomy and physiology. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had been a provider. I'd become a phlebotomist. I worked for Stewart Blood Center. And
Okay.
when I was going to TJC taking my basics, I took that little personality test, and it said, "Oh, you'd be good at being a teacher, a nurse, an attorney, all these different things." And since I worked at the blood center, I was, performing venipunctures. I was like, maybe I'll try nursing, and so it stuck with me. So that's literally how I got involved in nursing, and then I loved it when I got involved with it. Started doing it.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So I know that you started out as a LVN and then kind of transitioned, became a registered nurse. So how was that? Was that a difficult transition? Was it pretty easy? How did that go for you?
It wasn't difficult. I worked with a lot of RNs, and we basically did the same tasks, except we couldn't push IV cardiac meds, and we couldn't charge, and we couldn't hang blood, but we could monitor the blood. And then back then, like in '92, you weren't supposed to discuss your salaries, but me and the charge nurse were talking about salaries. And she told me what she made, and I thought about what I made, and it was $10 difference, literally. And it
Wow.
was the $10 difference a year and a half of me going back to school to get my RN. So
Yeah.
initially, when I went back, it was, I was like, oh, we're doing the same things. I need to be compensated. And so I
Right.
went back and got my RN, but then with the RN came more responsibility.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So what I've noticed in reading your bio is you're progressive in your career. You seem like a go getter. Definitely, obviously, but when you decide that you want to do something, you set your mind to it and you get it done. Where do you think that determination came from? Was that something inherited or just just kind of setting goals for yourself, or where did that come from?
I've always been pretty, I won't say competitive, but I guess motivated. I've always
Yeah.
had friends that we kind of competed in grade school. I know one of my friends, she passed away in a car wreck, Latrina Price, and she was really smart. She was in gifted classes, and we had all of our classes together throughout, and we always, were competing with grades A's and B's. She always made more A's, whatever, but we always competed. So I think that it was a friendly competition, though. And so she was, I guess, one of my motivators as a best friend. But my mom and dad both always worked. I saw them go to work every day. My dad did get an associate's degree. My mom went to school, but she came back and she decided she wanted to just work. College wasn't for her. But just seeing my parents, going to school and having friends that were, I call them smart, whatever, but, they kept their grades up. And so I guess that kept me competitive. And I also, I was in athletics in school. So that's competition.
Yeah.
But just always had that inner drive. I don't know, it may be hereditary. I do have family members that my uncle actually was the first Black city council member in Grand Prairie in 1989. My mom's uncle.
Oh, okay. That's a blessing. Okay. Very good. Very good. Okay. So take us to your medical career and take us into right before politics. And the steps, like what made you decide to kind of get into the politics. I know you've done some real estate, you've got several businesses, so you've moved into the business arena, but what made you kind of decide to jump into politics?
Okay, but going back to the healthcare, so I was working during COVID in Houston. I was there for about a year during the COVID response contract. When I came back, I took about a year break. I was going to go back into traveling, but when I was going to go to California and work a strike, they wanted me to have 3 COVID vaccines, 2 boosters. So I'd already had COVID twice, and I had natural antibodies, and I had the labs to prove that. So they wouldn't let me work. Agencies and even the hospitals were under this mandate that everybody had to have the COVID vaccines. So during that time, I didn't work. I decided to go back and take my real estate test, because I actually had taken real estate in 2013, but never took the state test for whatever reason. I guess I just kept working in nursing, and I wouldn't did. I said, well, I guess I'll have to do real estate because I can't work in nursing. But since then they've laxed that rule. We can work now without those requirements or whatever. So I was here doing my real estate, and I got called into a meeting with some current, I guess, officials and leaders here in the city. And they asked me what I thought about running for city council. I said, I never thought about anything in politics. I'm just working and follow the rules of, the law of the land. And they, talked about the responsibilities and everything. And they said they had been watching my social media. They know that I was active and out and about. And so they were looking for someone that would be interested in running it, that actually wanted to do it. And so I journaled. And so I had journaled probably 2 years prior that I want to help people, but on a larger scale.
Right.
And so when they asked me, I was sitting there and I was like, And that immediately came to mind. You wrote that down, but I wasn't specific. I didn't write down how I want to help people, when did I want to get paid for it or anything. So I just felt like it was coming back around full circle. So I accepted, and I just went from there.
Okay. So for all of you that are watching, Miss Petra Hawkins is City Councilwoman for District 2, which is West Tyler. Is that correct? For the West Tyler area. And
West Tyler,
and you were newly elected. How many months in are we now?
I was sworn in July the 10th.
July the 10th. So what has that looked like?
6 months.
Yeah. Not even 6 months yet, but I'm sure you have already been busy. Before we go into what it looks like as City Councilwoman, tell us about the process of getting there. I know I have been watching you on social media for a while. You caught my attention because I was seeing you everywhere. And I was like, who is this lady? But I kind of started watching you a little bit on social media, and I noticed you were going several places. And that's when I reached out to you. I was like, I need to interview you. um, so kind of tell me, what did that look like? And balancing with family. I know you have a husband, you have children. Grandchildren. So what did that look like, the balance of everything during the process?
Well, again, I hadn't ever been involved in politics, so I didn't really know what to do. I was, asking different people, and was trying to find a campaign manager, but everybody was busy or either burnt out. I mean, that's kind of what they said. I'm retired from politics, and so I really, literally, kind of just winged it. I mean, I knew that when I spoke to one older gentleman, he said you need to stay visible and you need to support your community, what you're trying to serve. And so that's what I started doing. I started going on Facebook and finding different events. I go to just different events in the area all over, even not in my district, in North Tyler also, just supporting the community, finding out, kind of what their needs are, what their wants or complaints or issues are. And that's kind of
Yeah.
what I did. I just really just kind of winged it, just kind of made myself visible.
And I think well, obviously you did an amazing job because you definitely won that spot. But I think, from on the outside looking in, seeing you at the different events that I have seen you at, multiple events, I thought to myself, this lady is reachable. She's reachable. She's touchable. And when you're thinking about somebody that you want in a position like a city councilwoman or a city councilman, I think that's what we want. We want somebody that we can believe is relatable and touchable. You were actually showing up, and volunteering and actually visibly
Yeah.
doing it, and I think that makes a difference. So I congratulate you. Congratulations on the newly elected office. I know that you will do an amazing job. I mean, your track record proves that you are a winner, a woman of determination. And so, congratulations, congratulations. What's next for you, Miss Petra?
Thank
What do you
you.
have next going on?
Ooh, what's next? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm still trying to learn because I'm a learner. And so, I come from healthcare background. So,
Right.
stepping into something and not knowing what you're doing is kind of not what you do when you're a nurse. When you go in a patient's room, you need to know how to start an IV before you go in the room. So this is
Yeah.
it's new for me, and it's good though. I'm having to kind of do it, learn as I go. And so
Yeah.
I'm learning, about local government, how things work, and dispelling the myths, because there were some things that even myself didn't know how it worked, and okay, this is how this goes. This is how things get done. It doesn't just, you don't
Hmm.
just make a phone call for this. There's a process for everything, and there's a
Yeah.
time, frame for everything. So it's challenging, and so I think that I needed this challenge. I didn't come this far for just for nothing, no thing. I think it was a purpose, because I wouldn't have. I mean, I think everything serves a purpose. We
Yeah.
plan things, but God purposes things, and so I just feel like this part of my journey,
Yeah.
because
I think
it's
it's,
really out of character for
well,
me not to really know what I'm doing, but I'm learning.
you know what? I think that's the beauty of it. I think the beauty of it is time for change, time for something different. And so when you have the opportunity to create, to observe, to make notations, and then to create, you have the opportunity to maybe, make some things better. So I think from that perspective, having some new energy, some new perspective, new eyes is always a better thing, because there's probably a lot of things that weren't quite, where they needed to be. And not to say anything against anybody previously, but just then people's needs and community needs change, and having some new ears and eyes on the scene,
Right.
that somebody that's out in the community, being vigilant, that I think that's a good thing. So this is definitely got, all things work together, right? For the good of them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. And so I just truly believe the Lord is just,
Yeah.
blessing you with those new eyes and new ears on the scene, and he's going to allow you to be able to see those things that were, and then also give you the new ideas of where to take those things and improve them. And so I feel confident you'll be able to do that. Now, are you a sports fan?
I am. I love football. My son plays football. We've watched football since, oh man, he's 23. We've been going to his game since he was 5 in Pop Warner.
In Pop Warner?
In,
Okay.
professional sports.
Yes, yes. I know your son's been playing some games. You had kind of told me about that. So how are they doing? Are they doing good?
Oh, they're not doing so well as far as the season, but he's, he got his bachelor's, his BBA, and he's working on his master's, and he only needed 36 hours. He will be done in May. So that's
Woo!
the most important thing, that yes, his talents have paid for his college. He's on full scholarship, and
that's a blessing.
everything has been right. So
That
that's
is
the
a
good.
blessing.
You have to find the good in everything.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So you have 3 grown children, and when I read your bio, I was like, you do not look like you have 3 grown children, Miss Petra. Let me say that. And then 10 grandchildren. Wow.
Yes.
So tell us,
Uh-huh.
what is that like? I'm not a grandmother yet. My oldest son, I think he will be married hopefully in the next couple of years, so I'll get to experience that. But what is that like, being a grandmother?
It's surreal because I look young because I was young when I had my first child. So my child is 37 and I am 54. So you do the math. I was
Gotcha.
16. Yeah,
Gotcha.
so we
Okay.
kind of grew up together. So I was a young mother and a young grandmother. But it's a
Gotcha.
beautiful thing. You have children, but then when you have grandchildren, wow, there's something even more
It's the,
special. It's a whole different
yeah.
flood of emotions when you have grandchildren. And I am blessed to have 10 talented, very athletic, bubbly children, all healthy.
That is a blessing. Now, are you Nana? Are you Gigi? What is your nickname?
I'm Gigi.
You are Gigi. I just figured you're
Gigi.
not Granny. You are not Granny. You are not Grandma.
Mm.
I just figured you were going to be
My
Gigi or
mom was
Nana.
Granny, and then I couldn't
Very
think of that. They
good,
just Gigi kind of stuck. So I'm Gigi. I like Gigi. There's a lot of
Gigi.
Gigi's, but when my grandkids
Yeah.
call me Gigi, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, what do you say to the young women that are watching, Miss Petra, that are thinking that, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that. They don't quite know where to start. Maybe they didn't come from an environment that necessarily, taught them how to go the extra mile or how to think bigger. What type of advice would you give them based on your experience of excelling and continuing to climb the ladder? What would you tell them?
Well, sometimes they have to change their company. You're judged by the company you keep, but also, your circle is the sum of of your value. So, not to say, because I have, we all have a lot of friends. Not to say anything bad about anyone's friends, but you kind of, and I'm learning that even more now, that you kind of have to change the company you keep, who you hang with, and you have to hang around with people that have similar goals, or not even similar goals, but have goals altogether.
Yeah.
Utilize resources. Yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help. When I went to LVN and RN school, I paid for neither one of those. Somebody told
Wow.
me about a program. It was, I think it was ETI back then, but it was through the
Okay.
Workforce Commission. And so they told me about it. I went and applied, and then I did it again 6 years later. So ask questions. You're always 5 people away from the information that you need, but don't be afraid to ask. Utilize your resources. There's so many resources right here in Tyler, Texas. If you ask, somebody always knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. And you can do, whatever you want to if you have that mindset. And that's, the big thing with everybody. Everything starts with a thought. So, but you have to have your mind right, and know that that's what you want to do. And when you want to do it, you got to be specific about things you want. And also write it down, write the vision and
Yeah.
make it plain. Look at that often, put up sticky notes, journal every day. Write down what you want to happen, not what you don't want to happen. And read it all the
Hmm.
time. Speak it out loud. I do that a lot. It's
Yeah.
manifestation. You can call it manifestation. You can call it prayer. You can call it what you want to. Just do it, though. It works.
Yeah.
And we can have anything we want. But I get sidetracked too. I have to teach, keep teaching myself and reminding myself, because I'm doing all these things and I get, not so focused on the things that I want to do because I want to do so many things. And
Right.
sometimes I have to slow myself down and say, you got to concentrate on this because you're going in too many different directions.
Hmm.
So, but we can do anything we want to do. The
Yeah.
resources are out there.
That is true. That is true. The writer in me wants to ask you about that journaling. So, how long have you
I
been
think you're
journaling?
stuck. I froze a little bit. Okay, there you go. Delayed.
Were you able to hear me?
Oh, I've been journaling since I can remember. So I can hear you now. I think it's just a delay in between.
Okay. Okay. You said you've been journaling for a long time. And how does journaling or writing, how does it make you feel?
It makes me feel great whenever these things manifest, and the more you journal and the more that you believe, you see things they happen. But if you don't believe that it's going to happen when you write it down, it's not going to happen because it's thoughts are things. So you're going to get back an exercise. Believe that what you're writing, you're going to receive it, and eventually you will. But that's one of the things that I noticed that when I do it more and I am regular and consistent with doing it every day, things come faster. They start showing up faster.
Yeah. Yeah. I call it faith confessions. Like you said, everybody has something that they call it, but I call it faith confessions. And I speak my faith confessions, and then I also have a vision board, which I need to update. I haven't
Yes.
updated it in a while, but I have my vision board, and then I do my faith confessions, and just reminds myself, so I can keep it at the front of my mind what my goal is, what my targets are, and then remind me of what the Word of God says. Because I write my faith confessions with the Bible mixed in. I find scriptures that relate to what it
Okay.
is I'm trying to
Uh,
say, and then I put I and me in the place, so I'm speaking it. Because as we know, words are very powerful.
right.
Yes, ma'am.
They
So,
are. They are.
what do you
Yeah, I love
say
vision
to?
boards too. You spoke of vision boards. I have, and I need to update mine, but whenever things, I mean, I had gotten some perfume. I had put perfume on there probably
Uh-huh.
years ago. And my husband ended up buying me some cologne or perfume for my birthday. I was going in my closet to do something, and I happened to glance at my vision board because I had one in my closet. I got one in this place, and I got them everywhere. And I saw that cologne on my vision board. When he gave it to me, didn't even think twice about it, but I had it on my
Yeah.
vision board. So whenever I receive things that I have on my vision board, I date it.
Oh,
So
that's
that's why
good.
I add to it and update, but yeah, I like to put the dates
I
on there
like.
when it
I would.
actually
I had not
when it
thought.
manifested.
I had not thought about that. I hadn't thought about the dating part, Petra. That is really good. Okay, because there are a lot of things on my board that have
And
already
it's neat to go
happened.
and look and say,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Wow. So y'all
yeah,
heard it here. Update your vision boards, and for those things that have already happened, put a date so that you can remember when it happened. I like that. I do need to redo mine, and
right.
I don't know, I can't remember dates now, but I'm gonna renew it because it's been probably about 3 or 4 years since I redid mine, and I actually have mine in my closet. um, but mine is in my closet as well. Um, what do you say to the people that are in District 2 watching tonight? What do you say to them to encourage them to step outside of the box, to think big, to dream bigger than what they have seen, because a lot of times in our families, we may not see what, we consider success, or we may not see opportunities. But for all of those people that are in your district, District 2, as the city councilwoman, what do you say tonight as a word of encouragement, or for them that are watching tonight?
Just don't believe, I say, the hype, or don't listen to what negative and saying things about your city officials. We do listen, but you do have to show up. You do have to use your voice. City council meetings are every second and fourth Wednesday of the month at 9 a.m., which I know is not always a good time, but it's also live. We also have a Facebook page, the City of Tyler Government, that you can go on there and make comments. But whenever you use your voice and not always a complaint, but if there's something that you desire, we want to see in your community, they are very responsive in communications. They are very responsive every day. They're on it when people post. They listen, and they do try to appease, the community. So oftentimes we speak and, we complain amongst ourselves, but we need to talk to who we need to talk to. Speak to your local officials and, let them know what you want. Let them know your concerns, because we listen, and we do send complaints and issues to those designated departments, and they handle them. They get to them. That sometimes they go on a queue, because if I send an email to the trash people or whatever trash department, they don't just jump on it right then. They probably get calls and emails every day, but eventually they get to it, and they work their best, do their best to try to resolve the issues. And I got an email today that I was happy to see about, a neighbor of my dad's had called about some cars parked on the side of the road. And, so things get resolved, quickly. And that was only like 2 weeks ago. So they do listen. It may take a little time, but they do listen, and they do try to resolve issues, contrary to popular belief. They're really good about, resolving issues.
So it sounds like what
That
you're
was a
saying
lot
is
to say to them, but I'm just saying.
no,
I
no,
just
no,
want people
you're
to use.
fine. Yeah, it sounds so, what I recapped from everything is that there's a process, and you spoke about that earlier, that there is a process to the way that things get handled. And so when you have some questions, some issues, concerns, or even some compliments, please send some compliments. Just know that there is a
Yeah.
process. Someone will get to you, they
Yes.
will answer you, but it is a process. And so if you don't, get an immediate response, it doesn't mean that your question, your issue, your concern, or your compliment is not being processed, but it does take time. There is a process. And so just knowing that up front, we should be able to be patient so that we can let the process run its course. I'm going to ask you 3 words, Miss Petra, and I want you to tell me which one kind of stands out the most for you. Healing, empowerment, and transformation. Which one of those stands out the most? And then just tell us why.
Ooh. Transformation. I know that the other ones, of course, heal and you transform, hopefully, but transformation. I love butterflies, and so butterflies, to me, that's one of the significations, but you know what I'm saying. For transformation is the
Yeah,
butterfly, because they start as the caterpillar, and go into cocoon and all that or whatever. So transformation stands out for me, because we should always be improving, transforming ourselves, I believe. We weren't made
yes,
to just stay the same, to stay stagnant. We have a
right.
brain for a reason. We have books, we have the internet, we have other people, all these
Yeah,
resources for a reason. They're all for us to grow and prosper.
yeah, yeah. Very good, very good. What would you like to say to us tonight that maybe you haven't had an opportunity or a platform to say? What do we need to know about Miss Petra that we don't know, or that you have coming up? Just kind of take a few moments to just kind of speak freely what you would like for us to know tonight.
It was kind of cutting out a little bit. Can you ask that question one more time?
Yes, I would like for you to just take a few moments to tell us what else do we need to know about Miss Petra, or if you would like to take a few moments to just kind of share anything with us tonight on the platform that you've got going on, or just anything that you maybe hadn't had a moment to kind of speak on or talk about. If you want to take a few minutes to do that, to speak freely.
Oh, just to let people know, and I think most people that know me already know about me that I'm very compassionate, I'm empathetic, and I truly am authentic about wanting to help my community. I didn't set out intentionally to run for city council, but I'm in that position now, and so that's my goal is to improve, affect change in my community, whether it's revitalizing our neighborhoods, getting them cleaned up, and getting affordable homes built and things like that, getting potholes, of course, fixed, and signal lights. They're working on that. There's a lot of things that I get emails about, so that's why I'm naming those things specifically. But I'm
Right.
passionate about helping people. I was passionate in the hospital, so I'm passionate in this. This is actually a job. It's not a paid job, but it's a job, and so I take my job, seriously, and I'm committed to
Yeah.
it. So just be patient with me. As I said, I'm still learning local government, but what I don't know, I ask. I know the people to ask, and if I don't know, then I'll ask somebody that does know. So we'll
Yeah.
get it done. We'll get it done together.
Yeah. And
Just
I think
continue to have faith and hang in there with me.
that's all that we can ask, is that we have somebody that, even if it's something that you've got to research or whatever, that you're willing to do that. And I know that, like I said, with your track record of your career, your education, just the things that are in your bio, just who you are as a woman, I'm sure you will do an amazing job at making sure to address all of the issues of all of the people in District 2. And you've already taken that on with the successful campaign that you had. And so we know that you will do a major improvements in the area, and take things to the next level. So on behalf of all the District 2 people, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even know what area District 2 is, but I know they are blessed to have Miss Petra Hawkins. That's what I know.
Well, let me just tell you where District 2 is. So District 2 is White City. If you're Are you familiar with Tyler?
Somewhat, somewhat.
Are you
I'm
from
actually
Tyler?
from Chapel. I'm from Chapel Hill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, okay. So it's White City, it's Butler College, it's
Okay.
St. Louis. It goes all the way out to Fresh, out 155 and Grande, and it goes all the way out to Gentry Parkway, a
Oh
portion of
wow.
downtown, the airport, and Lindsay Park also, annexed in. And it's Cascades, Broadwood is the largest district. So it's different.
Wow.
It's very diverse. Yeah, very diverse.
That is a big district. Wow. Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. Do you have any upcoming events that are
Guess
going
I
to
should have
be
said that earlier.
what's that?
Oh, that's my grandbaby that's made it. Remember, I told you I had one coming in from Dallas.
Oh yeah.
You're probably hearing him.
Oh no, you're fine. You're
Sorry
fine.
about that.
So are there any upcoming events or anything that you would like to promote, Miss Petra, while you're here?
Let's see. I have to look at my calendar because I literally live by my calendar. I don't know what I'm doing unless I look at my calendar.
I
So
I
tomorrow
totally
at
understand. Yeah.
1:30, I'll be attending the Ethan. That's the East Texas Health and Human Needs Network. Well, yeah, Ethan. So anyway, I'll be attending that session tomorrow at First Christian Church. They have that once a month. It's from 1:30 until 3. And so what Ethan does is a lot of nonprofits under one umbrella, and a lot of those representatives show up. And so we collaborate on different things that we talk about there. And also, I think tomorrow is Tyler Metro, their business mixer at 5:30, but I have to double take that because I have it on my calendar twice for some reason. But that's what I have going on tomorrow. Hi, I told you. I told you he was
Well,
coming.
and we found out, we heard the confirmation of Gigi. Yes, we heard the confirmation of Gigi.
I
Well,
know he's gonna burst in here.
that's okay. We love it. We love it. So as we get ready to close, what do you say to anyone that is interested in getting into politics? I know that it was something that you kind of learned kind of as you go. What would you recommend to someone else that's interested into getting into politics as we come to a close?
To shadow someone. I mean, I know some people that are really interested in politics, if they're thinking about being a governor or something like that, or in the Senate, that maybe they should take some political science courses.
Okay.
That's always helpful. I did not, because again, I was to healthcare, but that would be helpful. But really shadowing someone, attend the city council meetings like I did. I started attending city council meetings shortly after I announced, and so just get involved with the local committees here in town. They have the Parks and Recreation, there's Planning and Zoning, have since sales tax board. So get involved with the boards and just become active in the community. And that's how you learn a lot. Stop.
Very good. Very good. Well, Miss Petra, I am very happy that we were able to collaborate tonight. Thank you so much for stopping by the studio and taking the opportunity. Look at me stopping by like we in the like we in the building. Well, you still stop by. You stop by the link. But thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Hold
you for
tight,
having
Miss
me.
Petra. Yes, ma'am. Hold tight for just a moment. For all of you that tuned in tonight, thank you so much for tuning in to another special edition, Monday Night Special, with City Councilwoman Petra Hawkins. Again, it has been an amazing interview tonight. Make sure that you like, tag, and share. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show on YouTube, so that this information from the interview tonight can be available to others. I am going to close out, but if you'll hold tight, Miss Petra, and then I will let you out as well. Be just a moment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We will be back on tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we will have a special guest. His name is Trey. He is an amazing artist. I mean, the pictures look like his work looks like pictures, but it is hand drawings. And so it will be the first time we've actually had an artist on the show. And so tomorrow night, make sure you tune in so you can take a look at this artwork and definitely support him in his endeavors. Thank you so much. Have a good night, everyone.
If you would like to be a guest on the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show, email Stephanie at stephaniemseatontheauthor@gmail.com.